faces, maybe this time you'll be the one to help find a missing child. Next. Elizabeth Smart, abducted from her bedroom and missing for 9 months. Sean Hornbeck, snatched off of his bicycle, gone for 4 years. We know their faces, their stories, and the miracle that they came home to their families. Now, in a recent case, after 18 long and painful years, J.C. Lee Dugard is also home. June 10, 1991. J.C. Lee Dugard heads to the school bus stop down the street from her house. A car pulls up, screeches to a halt. The screaming 11-year-old is dragged into the vehicle and takes off. Her stepfather witnesses the whole thing in horror.
This is 911. My daughter was just kidnapped. Top of the hill was a gray Ford. A man and a woman in the car. The car came down here, made a turn. Went back up.
Her mother, Terry, pleads for JC's return.
She's a pretty, young, innocent child. And you may like her, but we love her too. And it's time that she comes home.
After 18 agonizing years, another miracle.
J.C. Dugard was found alive in Antioch. Excuse me.
Police believe that for almost 2 decades, J.C. lived in these hidden backyard tents and sheds, allegedly held captive by convicted rapist Philip Garrido and his wife Nancy. Another shocking discovery. Police say J.C. has 2 daughters, ages 15 and 11. They say the father is Philip Garrido. So, Philip and Nancy Garrido have been charged now
These are
with
songs,
kidnapping, with rape, and with false
I'm singing
imprisonment.
as I watch the Oprah show.
They have pled not guilty to all of those charges.
When advertises, I'll be out there. You'll
right
see
now
me.
behind bars
Until
in
then,
California,
I'll be behind the scenes a little bit,
so just
creating
think of
songs.
the hope that JC's story gives to the hundreds of other families who are right now still waiting for
This is the 5th of January,
their phone call.
2010.
Without the intuition of these 2 women who are sitting next to me today, JC would very likely still be missing. This is police officer Allison Jacobs and police specialist Lisa
Missing
Campbell
people
from
in this
University of
world.
California, Berkeley. So I understand
People
that
go
you,
missing
Lisa, met him
in this
first.
whole wide world.
He came to my office.
Missing
I worked as a special
children,
events coordinator
missing
at the California
adults.
Berkeley Police Department.
The
He
elderly
came in, wanted to
people
hold an event on
go
campus.
missing.
And he says, you're going to love this. I need to talk to you. I've got
Well,
something
some
for
are
you.
found,
The
and
entire
these
world
are
is
good
gonna
news
Okay, so this is an unexpected
People
It's an
who were
unexpected,
found.
unplanned.
Okay.
And when he initially entered, my back was
The
hurt because I was working on the computer.
That
So I
they
said, okay,
did
so
not stay missing
what is it about?
forever.
University of California.
They've been
He says, well, the
found.
FBI is involved. Everybody's
Here they
going to want
are.
to know it's God's desire. It's God's purpose. And
Many
while he's
people
talking,
begin to think
my office
of
is another
God
office.
in those
My office is
circumstances.
inside of another office.
What
So I
else
have
can
to
you
turn
do
and slightly, and I see
if
two young
that
girls
was
standing on
you?
the outer office.
And how young do they
When
appear
someone
to be?
you
Around
love
11,
goes
between 11 and
missing.
15. And I look over at the girl, and so I said, well, whose children are these? Because they're mine. So I said, hi, girls, how are you? Come on in. And they sort of just kind of stayed propped, as though, as though he set it up so that he would create the distraction and they were just there in eye view. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at him and I look at the girl and he's going on, and he's extremely animated, and they are not. They are actually not. It's the nonverbal. They weren't. They were really posed. And so I said, okay, well, I really don't have time for this, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. Would you be interested in coming back? And so he didn't expect that reaction because he expected to be blown off. And so I said, would you be interested? He's like, oh, absolutely. You're going to really love this. You're going to be so grateful that you did this. You'll never understand. Oh, yeah, I love it. And so I said, let me see what I have available. I looked up and I had an appointment the next day. I wanted to get him in as soon as possible.
So the girls appeared to be what, robotic to you, or?
They were beautiful. They were pretty girls, but they just weren't animated. They weren't interactive. It was a nonverbal communication. It was just as though they were props. And
okay,
we were talking about.
So did that send off a red flag or a yellow flag?
More of a yellow. This is what's happening here.
Okay, so what's happening here?
Yeah.
So you set up another appointment for the next day.
Correct.
And then what?
I went to Allison and asked her if she could. And I told her what I had. I said, Allie, this guy is in my office. He's got these two young girls. Something's not right.
Something's not right.
Yeah, something's not right.
Which is the real reason why we're doing this show, everybody, because that is exactly why we believe now that this case has been brought to an end and JC is home, is because you sensed something wasn't right. Okay, go ahead.
So when I told Allison that, she's looking at me, she's like, wow, well, let's run it. And so at that point, she went to do a criminal background on it. So I go to dispatch and I have him run his name.
When
and
you feel something isn't right, maybe you should tell someone.
Longer than I could imagine. That
when
he was
you
on
feel
parole
something
for rape,
ain't
and then he was a
right,
sex registrant. And I was like, ooh,
maybe you
okay.
should tell
Right.
someone.
So I go and I tell Lisa, and that's
When
what
you
she told me.
think something
He had
isn't
two little girls
right,
with him, and they seemed a little submissive.
Okay.
And I said, oh, well,
these two women,
well, what do you want me to
put two and
do?
two together.
And she said, well, why don't you go ahead and sit in on the
They caught
meeting with
the
me? I didn't feel
rascal.
comfortable with her being alone in a room with a
A
convicted
man
rapist, first of all.
sexually
So he
abusing
comes
women
back, and he's got
and keeping them
an
prisoners.
attaché case that he opens up,
Against
and he
the
hands
will.
us this book. And it was a book that was
They
circulated
broke
around
the case.
the origins of schizophrenia revealed.
They broke the
He
case.
hands us, and he just goes
Looking for
on
a
this
dick.
tangent about how you can hear voices,
They
and
broke
he's
the
got this
case.
box, and he's got all these people that can attest that he can hear voices. So he's going on his little.
And what are the girls doing while he's doing that?
So he's standing in front of Lisa's desk. The younger 11-year-old is sitting down right in front of me, and the 15-year-old is standing at his side. So I'm sitting down, and Lisa's listening to him, and I'm looking at the 11-year-old, who is staring at me unlike any other stare I've ever had by a child in my life. Now she's looking at me, just smiling, weird smile with this, like, staring past me almost. Because when you look into somebody's eyes, you can usually tell what their eyes are saying, and they're very animated with their eyes, nonverbal communication. I'm not getting any kind of read from her at all, so I was kind of put back, which is, not usual for me, and I felt uncomfortable with this 11-year-old staring at me.
So then did you decide to have a conversation with the girls?
Yes, when she had Philip Garrido distracted with his event,